Good morning, good morning. Hey, how are you? Kirsten Liebelt here. I'm a Minnesota mom of 3 adult kids and we homeschooled for 20 years. How are you guys doing today? So last night I was on a live. Oh, let me tell you this first. Tomorrow I am going to be doing an interview for my podcast, which is called Addicted to Brave. And I'm really excited because this guy is a children's author. So what's really cool about that is that if you resonate with a conservative thought process for your kids, he's been writing children's books that align with that. So I had picked up a few of them so that I could read them before the interview, and I'm going to do this tomorrow at 1 o'clock Central. I'm probably going to stream it live on TikTok, and my TikTok account is Homeschool Your Way. I don't know if I'm streaming it on Instagram. I have to see how many devices I'm going to be working with because, it's a process. But I'm really, really excited. So his name is Brett Pike, and let me share with you quickly the 3 books, and then I want to get into telling you about my Hot Mess Express story in a little succinct fashion because of a conversation I was having on a TikTok live last night. So free speech, social media, censorship, and the First Amendment. That's one of his books. The next one is Good Bears Always Tell the Truth. That's another one. And then this one is The Right to Bear Arms, Learning Liberty, Cubs to Bears. So it's a Cubs to Bears series, and he has a couple of other ones that I'm going to pick up as well. And then I think he's got more coming out. So I'm super excited to interview him. And again, the podcast is called Addicted to Brave. It's on Spotify, iTunes, Google, blah, 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 Libsyn.com. It's at all the places. You can go through the link in my bio if you want ease to jump into the podcast. I think right now, I don't remember, 47 or 48 episodes up. Most of them are interviews with veteran homeschool moms, which is really helpful for you if you just feel like you need to be encouraged. I always think about the new person, but you don't have to be new to feel like you need to be encouraged by somebody else's story, because I don't have all the answers for everybody, but those people can share the insights of their world, and you can get very excited about that. So last night I was on a TikTok live and I was chatting about, homeschooling. But somebody mentioned, and again, this is another thing that I don't think about, is that I always assume I'm talking to maybe a younger homeschooling mom, which is probably the truth most of the time. I started to become a wreck when I was in my 30s. And I don't always think to tell my story in its entirety so that people can maybe understand, because my goal is to actually help you, the homeschooling mom. I want you to get your feet underneath you, inside of yourself, so that you can be more present with your family. That's a huge goal. I didn't want to do curriculum for the kids or activities or subscription boxes of activities or whatever. All great ideas, all things that ran through my head. But in the end, what I really wanted in my heart was to be able to come alongside the homeschool mom and say, listen, I know what it's like to feel exhausted all the time. I know what it's like to you may be having all these kind of symptoms in your universe, and you're not equating them maybe with your hormones because you're in your 30s and you think this shouldn't be happening to me, and you think maybe the weird symptoms of hormonal imbalance are only equated with when you get older and you're starting to have hot flashes, and that's just not true. So my story is that I was raised Italian, and so we ate everything white flour, white sugar, and the whole 9 yards. And then when I was raising my kids, I did the exact same thing. That's all I knew. And so even last night on my live, I was making fathead dough, which is made with mozzarella cheese, cream cheese, almond flour, and an egg, and making that into a pizza crust instead of using white flour and yeast, which is what I did all of those years. So this is just one example. And the recipe actually is on my last post if you're wanting to get that. It's 4 ingredients. It's super easy. And so instead of putting white flour into your system, which can be super inflammatory And I understand some people would say the same thing about dairy too. I just don't find dairy to be as inflammatory for me. So if you are not a dairy-free person, then this is a great alternative. But also too, the big piece is that it's not spiking your insulin all the time. And the reason why that's a big deal is because insulin is actually a hormone. And a lot of people don't know that either. They don't know that it's a hormone. And so they're not thinking about the fact that as they're eating processed foods or a lot of white things, that they're constantly spiking that reaction in their body. And then what is happening with that is that it's then your body can't deal with all of it, and so it turns it into fat, turns it into fat, turns it into fat. And all of these pieces connect with me because that's what I was doing all the way through my 30s. And then, I mean, I remember even thinking, you know, maybe this is just the way it's going to be because I was raised Italian and I don't know any different, and this is just whatever. But the thing is that then I had to remember that my dad died at 63 when I was 30. He died at 63 from type 2 diabetes. So that's a big piece of my puzzle. So then I started to reverse engineer some of these pieces. My hormonal imbalance symptoms, they were always present, but it didn't affect me until I was about 45 and I needed to go back into the workplace because we had the economic crash. Took everything. And then I realized that I needed to multitask. I realized that I had a lot of brain fog. And so for women who are dealing with brain fog, exhaustion, a lot of moodiness, mood imbalances, this could all be for real hormonal imbalances that you don't even know. So last night I'm on a TikTok live and it comes to find out that I have somebody who's chatting about, she has a 6-year-old and an 11-year-old, and she's 50. She was either 52 or 54. So she's an older mom. And I went, I'm with you. Like, I know your world because I'm 56. So I know exactly what you're talking about. And like I've walked that journey already. And so I know now that I can help you. But this is the thing, is that I think a lot of people, you're not in your 50s thinking it's menopausal. You're in your 30s thinking, whatever, mommy brain, too much, you know, chaos in the home, whatever it is. Excuse me. And so it doesn't dawn on you that you can actually help yourself. So 2 things that I want to say to that. First of all, I always talk a lot about how I was addicted to hazelnut coffee creamer because I was. I drank so much hazelnut coffee creamer, it was ridiculous. Like, I couldn't wait to get to the store, and it wasn't just hazelnut. I couldn't wait to get to the store because I only went to the store once a week because we lived out in the country. And I couldn't wait to see what other flavor I was going to add. Like, I was so excited, and I didn't realize how that was so messing up my weight, number one, for sure. Like, my friend gained 10 pounds when she became my friend because we drink a lot of coffee and coffee creamer. But so my weight, huge piece, but then also too, my hormones, my hormones. And I'll just be the one to tell you that it can be fixed. You can really have a different life internally, inside of yourself. And it doesn't have to all happen at once. You don't have to make one big honking decision. That's why I talk about the different pieces to the puzzle that can be layered, and you can be in a completely different place. So one of the tips then that I want to give you is that, like, even for coffee now, instead of drinking hazelnut coffee creamer, which I stopped drinking a long time ago, but I'm gonna grab my water. But instead of doing that, I should have had more water with my supplements this morning. Instead of doing that, what I've done is I now purchase unsweetened coconut milk. This is actually in a carton, and I've been getting these at Costco. Something tells me they might be discontinuing them. However, there will always be an unsweetened coconut milk or an unsweetened almond milk option in life. You can get them in the refrigerator section. You can get them in cartons like this. I do this, and I warm this up with a dash of cream, like heavy cream. I just didn't want all that cream. I just wanted enough to creamify it. How's that sound? And then for my flavor, you know, not the best ingredients ever. This is probably one of the things that I kind of veer off on a little bit because it's a little bit of my treat. I actually go to, I don't know if you guys have a Marshall's wherever you live. It might be a different store for you. Let me know what store that is for you. I don't know. Probably we have a Tuesday morning. I wonder if they would have them. Marshall's. I just know that there are a lot of stores like that, similar in the way that they're laid out. And you can get these skinny syrups. So I don't know if you've ever heard of these before, but these skinny syrups have 0 calories, 0 sugar. And so they do use like an ACE-K, which is a potassium sweetener, and a sucralose. But they just taste really good. And so I use a splash of that just to give myself a little bit of flavor. And again, the different flavors, they're limitless. Like I have a caramel, and I have a salted caramel mocha. And those are the ones. And it's about what are you using? A teaspoon? Something like that. So it's a little bit. But anyway, I've totally been able to replace then my love for coffee with doing something different. And like last night when I was sharing the fathead dough recipe, dough, who doesn't want dough? Like that's, especially it's getting cold, right? It's like I'm in Minnesota. It's starting to get into the 40s and into the 30s. So immediately you start thinking about things that you want to make warm that are in your oven. And so just to switch out an ingredient here or there. So when I talk to women like this lady, I told her, I said, listen, if you DM me, and I will say this to you as well, if you reach out to me, you can get a free Zoom consultation where I will walk you through supplementation, because I started with supplements at 45 and then I changed out my foods at 51, and we can customize a universe for you. And I just know that if a mom finds themselves in a place where they have more energy, they have more mental clarity, their mood is more stable, I know that then they're going to be more present with their family, they're going to be a better mom, they're going to be a better wife, and that it's going to change everything for the dynamic of their family design. I always tell you guys, design your family. I always tell you to customize things. Well, this is one of those things where you're just going to have to pause probably every now and then and assess where you are at and what your needs are when it comes to taking care of yourself. And so I always feel like the benefit of connecting with somebody like myself is the fact that I've been doing this for 11 years so that I am able to, and the Zoom consult is complimentary, but I'm able to say, what are the things that you like the most, and let's work on just changing out ingredients. And I changed out ingredients one at a time. I changed out meals one at a time. I did not say Monday morning, that's it. It's all like cold turkey. We're being granola people on Monday. I would have never succeeded. That would have been setting myself up for failure. But when you begin to take these steps, then you are able to see success in inflammation going down in your body. Huge. If you wake up and you ache, exhaustion leaving your body. If you get up and you are just like, oh, you just feel like you've been hit by a truck, it could very well be because of what you're putting into your diet and the fact that you're not fueling your body and making it work at a higher level. Supplementation to me is exactly like adding an additive to your gas tank. That's what it is. It's making your body function at a higher level. So if you're flying off the handle in the middle of the afternoon, or your kids are having behavioral issues, it might completely be connected to their diet. And I'll say this and then I'll end. I was in a group the other day and she was talking about her child. She changed her child's diet to be more keto, which basically just means no processed foods, it's all real food, and she's not doing any grains and no sugar. That's basically what that means. And within like 2 weeks, she saw a huge difference in her child's behavior. So that should tell us something. That should tell us that we actually can shift our environment. We just have to have a couple of intentional pieces along the way. So if you're ever looking to connect with somebody who has the homeschooling experience along with the mom Hot Mess Express experience, then you probably want to DM me and we can talk about getting a Zoom consultation set up on my calendar and go from there. But in the meantime, have a super, super blessed day and look for that podcast coming up with Brett and his books, his children's books. That's going to be a great interview. Podcast is Addicted to Brave, and the link is in my bio if you want an easy way to go and find it. So be super blessed, and I will talk to you again. Bye, you guys.